The camera sweeps across the ancient plains of East Africa. Dust rises with the wind, and in the golden haze of the late afternoon sun, the land seems both empty and alive. 4 million years ago, this land was not silent. It was a stage upon which one of the greatest traumas in natural history unfolded, the emergence of our earliest ancestors. Here, on the shifting savannas and in the shadow of acacia trees, the mechanism of human formation began to take shape. Grazing animals moved slowly across the horizon, early relatives of antelope and zebra. Their presence reveals a crucial truth. The environment was changing. Dense forests were giving way to open grasslands. The earth itself was sculpting our destiny. Climate fluctuations transformed thick jungles into patchy woodlands and eventually expansive savannas. This shift forced tree-dwelling primates into a new world of danger and opportunity. Survival here required adaptation, and adaptation required transformation. A small group of early hominins, likely Australopithecus afarensis, moves cautiously through the grass. Their gait is uncertain, yet purposeful. For the first time, we see a glimpse of something extraordinary: bipedalism. Standing on 2 legs freed the hands, lifted the head, and changed everything. What began as a small adjustment for scanning tall grass and carrying food would become the foundation for tool-making, communication, and civilization. This was no sudden leap. It was the result of countless generations of joints reshaped, pelvises restructured, and spines curved for balance. The body was being re-engineered step by step for a future it could not yet imagine. The camera shifts. A lion-like predator stalks the herd. The hominins freeze, their survival balanced on instinct and awareness. Predators define the rhythm of prehistoric life. Every rustle in the grass, every shadow could mean death. For our ancestors, fear was not weakness. It was intelligence. The ability to detect danger, to cooperate, to warn others became vital. In the face of predators, community became strength. The mechanism of human formation was not only about bones and muscles, it was about bonds. Survival depended on the group, on shared vigilance, and eventually on shared memory. The group scavenges, digging with sticks, cracking nuts with stones. Here, necessity drove creativity. The savanna did not always provide abundance. Fruit was scarce. Meat was dangerous to obtain. Yet hunger is the greatest teacher. With each attempt, crude tools emerged: a stick sharpened, a stone used as a hammer. These simple gestures, repeated and refined, planted the seed of technology. The mechanism of human formation was not just physical, it was cognitive. Each action trained the brain, forming neural pathways that opened the door to imagination. An Australopithecus mother cradles her offspring, eyes scanning the horizon. Love, too, was part of the mechanism. To raise young in such a hostile world required patience, care, and protection. The length of childhood was increasing, and with it came longer bonds between mother and child. This vulnerability forced cooperation, and cooperation created culture. We often think of evolution as cold, mechanical change. But here, in the eyes of a mother, we see the other half of the equation: emotion. It was not only brains and bones that shaped us, it was connection. Thunder rolls, lightning cracks across the plains. The hominins huddled together beneath a rocky outcrop. The environment tested them relentlessly. Storms, droughts, and shifting seasons forced mobility. To survive, our ancestors became wanderers, moving in search of food, water, and shelter. With each migration, knowledge was carried, not in books, but in memory, gestures, and imitation. This transmission of knowledge was the earliest form of culture. What one generation discovered, the next inherited. Darkness falls, the hominids nather. Though true mastery of fire was still far away, lightning strikes and natural flames offered glimpses of its power. Night was the greatest enemy. Eyes that could not pierce the dark were vulnerable to every predator. Yet around fire, everything changed. Flames pushed back the night, extended waking hours, and opened space for communication. Perhaps it was in moments like these, with eyes reflecting firelight, that the first silent stories were told. Gestures of warning, mimicry of hunts, the shared rhythm of survival. The film slows. Close-ups of bones, feet, pelvis, and skull reconstructions. Science reveals the intricacy of this transformation. The pelvis of Australopithecus narrowed for upright walking, even as it struggled with childbirth. The foot's arch became spring-like, propelling strides forward. The skull balanced on the spine, face shortened, and teeth shrank as diets diversified. These were not random changes. Each was an answer to a question posed by the savannah. Each was a step toward the human form we recognize today. Two males compete, their cries echoing, while others form alliances. Conflict was part of life. Competition for mates, for food, for dominance, shaped behavior. But beneath rivalry lay cooperation. Group unity offered safety against predators, and together they achieved what alone was impossible. Here, we see the earliest roots of politics, of social order, hierarchy, negotiation, and reconciliation, primitive forms of the dynamics that still govern us today. An older hominin struggles to keep up. A young one learns to crack nuts with a stone. The story of life is the story of generations. Each birth carried new possibilities. Each death carried lessons etched in memory. The mechanism of human formation was slow, almost invisible. Yet across hundreds of thousands of years, small changes accumulated into profound transformation. As the documentary draws to a close, the image of Australopithecus fades, replaced by the silhouette of modern humans walking across the same plains. 4 million years ago, the seeds of humanity were sown in the dust of Africa. What began as survival became innovation. What began as instinct became intelligence. What began as bonds of need became bonds of love and culture. The mechanism of human formation was